guys, so this is going to be a long one. I know a few things that I want to talk about, but for the most part, it's just going to be random train of thought. So if you're not into that, you should exit. Things are just weird. Right now, I'm cat sitting, so that's where I am. And I have been sick with a cold for the past maybe, 4 or 5 days. And at first, I thought it was allergies, and it just wasn't. It progressed, and I had a sore throat and everything. So I had to face the fact that I had gotten sick, and I ended up canceling my surfing trip. I was supposed to drive a few hours south to Santa Cruz to visit this really cute, great friend of mine. I met him through Craigslist rideshare. I was driving to LA one time to visit a friend, and I had these 3 passengers, and he happened to sit in the front seat. And on the way down, we kind of got into it because we were driving past, on I-5, there's Harris Ranch, and if you've ever driven past, you smell it from miles away. It is just tens of thousands of cows crammed into like maybe an acre, and it is disgusting. You can see that they're standing in their own filth, and sometimes it's like inches deep, and they're just huddled there waiting for slaughter to be processed, and it is like the most disheartening thing. I hate that ranch. Like, it's the worst part of going to LA for sure, and even when I drive it at night, I always smell it, and I think of all the suffering, and I hate it. So we got into it because he was kind of defending all of it. Like, I guess when you have passengers that are paying you for gas money, you can't really decide what their ethical stance is going to be on animal rights, but we got into it. And he was saying that animals are meant to be eaten. He doesn't feel that bad for them, and he tries to, buy humanely raised, humanely slaughtered animals. And I tried to bring up the fallacies with that argument, and I ended up thinking, like, he's just okay. And on the way back, though, a few days later, I texted all the people. I said I happened to be going back up to the Bay Area. Would anybody like a return trip? And he said that he was leaving at the same time as me, so could he also ride back up? So it was me, him, and this older couple who was just asleep the whole way. And once again, he sat in the passenger seat, and we talked a lot. And this time I kind of got to know him more, and he's actually really interesting. He has a tech job writing code, and he taught himself all this stuff right before the interview. I really respected that. And he's into all these things like going to Burning Man for the art installations, and he actually doesn't participate in all of the drug culture there. So I like that because I'm pretty boring and sober myself. And I don't know, I just thought he was funny and nice, so we kept in touch, and he invited me down to hang out with him and go surfing. So this was a while back, but we're kind of like, what did he call it? Reunioning, I guess. So I ended up canceling that trip because I was sick and I didn't want to be disgusting. I felt really gross, and also I don't want to infect anybody. And I was really disappointed because I told my friends I was going surfing. I was all excited about it, but we just postponed until next weekend, so it's not a big deal. But I just thought that was funny. The point of giving you all the backstory is that he texted me like maybe a year ago, and he told me that he was going to stop eating animals, and he wanted to let me know because he thought I'd be so happy about it. And my influence as we were driving and having that conversation was part of the factoring in that led him to become vegetarian. So I was really happy about that. I love hearing that I've converted people, and that happens fairly often, and it's great every time because I want to make people think critically about their diet, because I think we're so used to growing up with something and we have this comfort food and it's what we are accustomed to, and it's not necessarily right. I mean, slavery was popular for hundreds of years in this country and throughout history, and there are all these things that are commonplace in certain cultures that aren't right. Like, just because something is the norm, like homophobia, doesn't make it the correct behavior, and we have to be enlightened and think long and hard about whether something is just a hedonistic pleasure or if it actually makes sense for our morals and whether it fits in with the lifestyle that we want to lead and the impact that we want to leave on the earth. So that is my long ramble about Sal, and I'm really excited to go surfing. The only time I ever went surfing before was in Hawaii, and my mom decided that I should try it, and I was excited to, and I got attacked by jellyfish, little Portuguese man-o-war. They look like little purple bubbles. They're beautiful. They were all over, and my surf instructor told me that the tide had shifted. It wasn't common at this time of year to be seeing them, but for some reason they were kind of in the cove where we were surfing, and I didn't think too much of it, just tried to avoid them. And then suddenly the tide shifted and they were everywhere. So there was just jellyfish all around us, and he was actually in the water, whereas I was on the surfboard, kind of protected. And he was so valiant, he pushed me so that I would get a head start to shore. I got a few bites. I remember my shoulder was pretty bad, and I don't know if you've ever been stung by a jellyfish before, but it feels like someone is holding a hot frying pan on your skin for just hours at a time, and eventually the poison works its way into your lymph node, and you're like, I don't know, it's in your whole system, so it becomes this venom that's in your stomach, and it's gut-wrenching, and you just feel like very much like you're burning, and you have cramps, and you feel like you need to vomit. And I remember just passing out in the shower crying. Like, it was really bad, and I was probably 15 when that happened. So I'd like to get over that. I think surfing sounds fun, and I'd like to try it again. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, the trip will be next weekend instead. And I don't know, I've just been feeling really like just strange and kind of alienated from all the good things that I like about my life. Like, because I thought I was going to be away this weekend, I didn't make plans with anyone. So I'm cat sitting, and it's kind of just me by my lonesome, and I've gotten through all of the TV that I was hoping to watch. I know that sounds really pathetic, but I've seen all of Bob's Burgers now. I'm caught up, and I don't know what else to do with my time. I suppose I could do art and read and go for walks and figure stuff out, but all I wanted to do today was go to the San Francisco Vegan Beer and Food Fest, and I had even forgotten that that was this week. And it's only once a year. It's the first time they've ever done it. I was really excited to do that. When I realized I wasn't going to be in Santa Cruz and I was going to be here, I thought, I'll go to this, and I reached out to a bunch of people and nobody was interested. So I kind of felt like a big loser, and I know that that's not fair because it's a Saturday. People have made plans at this point, but the fact that nobody wanted to go with me, it kind of sucked. Like, I reached out to my vegan boyfriend of a few years back, and he's in Portland at an animal rights conference, and he didn't want to go, or he couldn't go, and everybody else was just already doing stuff. And I sat here debating whether or not I could be the person I want to be, who is a proactive, spontaneous person who is independent and has fun and doesn't rely on external people and validation to go do something. And I thought, I can get in the car. It'll take me, I don't know, 20 minutes to get over there. I could go if I wanted to, and I might have a great time. But I didn't end up doing it because I was just kind of in like a self-pitying funk, and it was really gross. Like, it was just a cycle of feeling really like self-indulgent, that I was feeling kind of lonely and that nobody wanted to go, and then I was mad at myself that I wasn't just hopping in the car and going. And I don't know, I kind of wasted the day away, which I guess is good because I'm recovering from a cold. But it's also disappointing because, you know, you have a finite amount of time on this earth and you should spend it having fun and doing stuff, right? So I hear Benny the cat, but I think he's at the front door. If he comes to the back door, I'll let him in. So one thing about this cat is that I can leave the back door open for like an hour at a time, and he'll go straight out the back door, circle around to the front door, and then whine there for like 10 minutes, and I'll let him in. He goes straight back out the back door, over to the front door, and he whines. And I can't leave the front door open, obviously, so he's, you know, getting up there in age, and he's not making the most sense, so until he's ready to make a commitment to either being inside or outside, or at least realizing that the back door is open, if he needs to come back in, he can just go the way he came. I'm not dealing with it back and forth every 5 minutes. So, Bene, you're on your own. It's not cold out. Anyway, I guess I told you that I was sick, and that made me just in a funk. And I told you about the vegan food fest. I think it's awesome that they're having a vegan food fest. I think it's indicative of our culture changing and people are becoming more aware of their options, and it's wonderful. I think I heard that they sold out of most of the food by the time it was over, and the popularity made them consider having another one soon. That's amazing. I love that kind of thing. The other day I was grocery shopping and they had a deal that if you bought, I think, 3 boxes of Kashi cereal, you could get a free almond or soy milk of your choice. And I thought that was amazing because I so often see coupons for things that are like, if you get this, you can have dairy milk, or if you do this, you can have, free like chicken sandwich or something. And it's things that I would never want to get. And I think it's amazing that they're giving you options and choices, and they're responding to the demand for better plant-based choices. So I love it. Things like that make me happy. And yeah, I basically spent today painting, feeling sorry for myself, and playing chess, and I did well with that, so I'm happy. It's one of my ex-boyfriend's birthday tomorrow, and I wanted to make him these pillowcases. He loves Marimekko, the textile company, and they make these ginkgo pillowcases that I'll show you. Yeah, so they're pretty, right? And I wanted to make him without spending like $60, and also I don't even think they carry them anymore because he was telling me that he had seen them like years and years ago. I found pictures online, which I just showed you, and I tried to recreate it. So this is a very rough, it's not finished yet at all, but this is the ginkgo, and then the stem will come from here. It's a really long pillowcase, so I'm gonna run to the store like IKEA and get some long, and it'll be for a couch. So I have one in this color, and I also have one in the nice green. And obviously it's not done. I'm gonna go in with like a Sharpie of a pumpkin color and do all of the lines and detail work, and I'm gonna go over it a few more times with the color. And I hope that he likes that and appreciates the hours that have gone into it. I don't know, it's just, there's something about living in the city that disagrees with me, and I don't know why today I took it so hard, but the fact that I was just feeling kind of bored and uninspired and just like alienated from my peer. I thought I could go to this veg fest if I wanted to, and I could have delicious vegan food. And then I thought, okay, so you're gonna go with like a fistful of cash. You're gonna end up spending like $45 on, albeit amazing food, but I always tend to pick out. Like, my friends always tease me for how much I eat, but I will eat a lot when I go out. I hear Bene, but I don't see him. I eat a lot. When I go out with people, I will order a lot of food and I will eat it. And that's just the way that I am, and it's very expensive to be like that. So I didn't want to go and then potentially be upset. I get into this thing where I have expectations and I can feel myself doing it, where I want everything to go really well, but because of that I end up upset. So yes, I could have gone, but I knew that I was in the kind of mindset where if something went wrong, like I couldn't find parking, or somebody spilled their drink on me accidentally, or a guy was talking too loud next to me because he was drunk or something like that. I knew that little things like that would set me off. And to make matters worse, I don't have a phone right now. My phone got water damage about 2 weeks ago, and since then I have been making do. So I set up messaging to be synced to my laptop, so at least I'm getting texts, which is great because that's how I communicate with most people for the most part. So yeah, I'm getting texts about work and I'm able to like meet up with people and whatnot, but it's not easy to get directions or have music, or just feel like if something bad happened, maybe like car-wise, that I would be able to get help. So I really don't like the idea of traveling. So hopefully that's figured out by the time I make it down to Santa Cruz next week, because yeah, driving long distances without a phone just doesn't seem like the smartest thing in the world. So maybe I'll get like a replacement by then, hopefully. I've been trying, but it's so complicated with all these contracts versus non-contracts, and do I want to upgrade or just get a crappy used phone that wouldn't cost very much money? And everybody says, oh, the 6 is so great because you can take really good quality videos and it has such a great battery life. And then I'm thinking, do I really deserve such an extravagant piece of technology? I just water damaged my other phone. I feel like I don't deserve this. I'm not working that much. So I don't know. Life just seems kind of up in the air, and I don't like being in the city. I feel like that it's just so stale. I've been here for too long. I don't feel safe here. I don't feel inspired. It's just like full of restrictions and things that I'm not interested in. And it's really self-inflicted. I have the power to go somewhere else, and I have yet to do that. I've had all these missed opportunities where I was excited about something and it didn't quite pan out, and I kind of left it up to chance what I was going to do, and I think that was a big mistake, because if you let extraneous factors determine what you're going to do with your life, you could be pulled in whatever direction, and yes, maybe whatever's meant to be will be, and you can make the best of most situations. But if you really want something, I think you have to work hard, be determined, and just continuously strive for it and move in that direction as much as possible. And yes, it's okay to get sidetracked. Maybe something comes up, you have another opportunity. It's good to be flexible, but you want to pick something and go for it. And I know what I want. And when I was at the Heirloom Expo, I really realized, it hit me, I'm not going to be able to afford 50 acres on a beautiful property anytime soon. I'm just not. I'm not going to have the money to have structures and grow a bunch of things. I'm not going to be able to buy like farm equipment and have farm sanctuary animals unless I get a huge grant or a bunch of money falls in my lap. And that's just not going to happen. So being realistic, instead of looking online at properties that are like 40 acres and above, why not scale it down and look for 3 to 5 acres, 10 acres maybe? Just be within my means more, be more realistic, and then maybe it'll actually happen faster. So instead of waiting for that perfect thing way down the line and just being stagnant until then, move in the direction. So you guys told me so a long time ago. People have been saying this the whole time. Just why don't you start a little bit smaller or go work on someone else's property, their farm? So I don't want to do that. I do want to have the control. I want it to be my project, but why not start smaller? Just find a place that's 3 acres that is not completely clear of trees and just start there. Start a garden, do what you love, plant your seeds, start a small business, and from there, maybe you can move. And in my head, I always thought, I don't want to invest all this time and energy and patience and care into this property if I'm just going to move, because I want to grow fruit trees, and that's like a 15-year commitment. So I was thinking, I'm not going to move somewhere and plant a bunch of stuff and then just have to leave it and abandon everything to go to a new place later on. But I could plant in containers, and I could have hundreds of small trees that are ready to be moved when I'm ready to move. So that's what I'm going to do. That's like a 5-year head start, where you could have a small apricot tree or a fig tree growing in a container, and that can be transported. You just rent a truck for a few days. So I've become a little more realistic about my approach, and I've been looking at smaller properties, more manageable, more feasible, more affordable. I hear Bene. I'm going to try to let him in. There you are. Hey, buddy. Here's Bene. He's so cute. Hello. Bene is a lap cat. He loves all attention. Unfortunately, he's one of those cats that thinks that kneading is okay, so he will claw your leg to shreds. Hopefully, he's happy to just go do his own thing. Anyway, I want a farm more than anything, and if I can't afford it, which why could I? I don't come from money. I don't have a fancy degree. I don't have a great job that pays me. I don't even know what figures. 7 figure, I don't know. Anyway, I don't have all of that stuff. What I have is my modest savings that I've had since high school, and I've been steadily building it a little bit. And that is what I'm going to have to turn into my dream. That's what I have to manifest is I have a lot of gumption and a growing wealth of knowledge and my small nest egg, and that should be enough. And I'm hoping it will be. I'm looking every day, and that's the next step, I think, for me, is to get a small amount of land, figure things out from there, and just be happy away from the city, breathing easy, doing what I love, being outside, working with plants, and making an income on my own terms. I can't tell you how many people recently have asked me to babysit, and they cancel on me the morning that I'm supposed to do it. So I'll get a text like 2 hours before I'm supposed to be with their kids all day, and they'll go, oh, ooh, we don't need you. And it's just, I understand that your schedule changes, but my schedule was worked around this work that I was supposed to. I would never cancel on someone the way that they're doing to me. I'm not allowed to do it. I would never do that to someone. And yet they're doing it to me constantly, these families that I have. So I don't want to work on other people's terms. I think it's hard to find people who will be considerate of your time and energy and effort, and I would like to be responsible for my own, and I'd like to be self-motivated and get stuff done. I thought, I have all these beautiful chili seeds, why don't I make some artisan hot sauce? I have all these seeds. Why don't I plant them, grow the plants, save seeds, season after season, and I will have my own huge seed bank that I could make available to the public. I could have a seed online store. Why not? And I'd love to grow mushrooms. I'd love to dry fruits. I'd love to just experiment with different herbs and drying them for tea and making tinctures and salves. And it's amazing to me the things that you can do with plants. I'd like to get into that, get my hands dirty, not live in a sprawling, urban, little chaotic. I don't like it. It's too gray, it's too confining, and I'm just not into it. So it's long overdue that I leave. It's time. It's almost I'm 27. In a few months, it'll be my birthday. I'd like to get out as soon as possible, to be honest. So hopefully there'll be a big change soon. I'm thinking Washington State, possibly Oregon, and those places because it's the Pacific Northwest and I'm used to the climate somewhat. There are places along the coast where it doesn't snow and you get a lot of fresh water from above, and yeah, I should have turned messaging off. My apologies. So yeah, I don't know. It's a journey, and I thank you for being on it. Casey from permaculture class, stop messaging me. I'm sending you mind messages to stop messaging me till I'm done with this video. Yeah, hopefully that'll work. So I don't know. I'm just going to continue trying to stay positive and remembering that it's not a huge deal that I didn't make it over to San Francisco for the Vegan Food Festival, because as much as it's good to get out of your head when you're in a negative space and to push yourself out of your comfort zone and try to distract yourself with awesome things, it's also good to sit inside and work on yourself. So it's not the end of the world that I didn't get over there. I don't know, I guess I'm just gonna surmise everything by saying I miss you guys. I want to make more videos. I'm trying to move forward in the best way possible, and what I want most is to be living on land that's mine, that I can make better, and I'm moving forward. I don't know why the video cut out just now, but it's probably because my computer is very full of things and I should downsize. So that will be the theme of the next few months, is trying to make progress and trying to live more simply and just being grateful for the things that I have. So I will see you guys soon. I hope everything's going good for you, and I'll check in soon if I don't die on a surfboard. So I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to get a picture of these after I give them to Heath tomorrow, so I just wanted to show. Here is the pillowcase, the green one, and the other. They're coming along, right? Yeah. So working on that, and hopefully he likes them. We'll see.